the next speaker. Who
I
could
don't know.
that be?
I don't know. Let's get her
This,
done.
this
Get her
one, you
done.
guys definitely want to stick around for this speaker.
Mhm.
Let me introduce you to Deb Drummond because, yes, amazing speaker. Let me read you a little bit about Deb for those of you who aren't super familiar. Deb has been a successful entrepreneur for 33 years. We want to talk about that. And listed in Success Magazine 48 times. That is huge. That really is huge. And that is, oh my gosh, I love that magazine. I still get tips from there all the time. I love it. So awesome. Deb's the founder of Mission Accepted Media, women-owned media company with a mission not only to supply media, but support with education on why, how, and it. All right, Deb, your topic today is on Go Big.
Go big.
I can't wait to hear more about that. I mean, that's definitely something it's time. It's time to go big. Something you may not know. And I thought this was really good. Someday I want to do this myself. Deb has kissed the Blarney Stone. So, are you going to do it again for a second time?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just showing up and I'm speaking, and whatever Joanne tells me to do, I'm going to do it.
Okay. Good to remember. The music you're listening to right now is Loretta Lynn, coal miner's daughter. Yes, I mean, go for it, all out. And I do want to share a little bit about the gifts you're giving because you have a gift for everyone. They can choose from your free classes. There are classes on so many topics. And I mean, Deb has been an entrepreneur for a long time, and being able to share her wisdom, you definitely want to take a look at the classes that fit for you. And then also you have one gift at the end we're going to give away, and it's a private media stacking consultation. I would love for you to explain a little more about that. It is a value of $555. This sounds like something we could all use.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll explain it as I'm talking, and then I'll show people. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
that sounds great. Thank you, Deb.
Well, it's always great to have opportunity in here to kind of shift from host to presenter in a way, because lucky me, I know a lot of you that are here on the screen. I'm making new friends. I've seen people that have been here for the last couple days. I get to come off, and all the people that were watching us stream, the ones that I know, I get the feedback, I get the hey, I get the yay. I get to see kind of the full picture of how this all really comes together. And of course, the months that lead up to this kind of event, and all of the mission that goes into every little bit in piece. And sometimes it's 1%, sometimes it's 3%, sometimes it's really obvious to everybody, but it really is a big deal for us on the impact that we make. Because, I don't think that we get up in the morning and decide to take on something that what I call stretch to significance. I made an official announcement yesterday. You're not going to hear me say the word journey. And any of my colleagues, sisters, men and women in business that are taking it on and taking the mission, we really shifted the whole idea around mission accepted. And I would like to encourage you to do the same thing. So one of the powerful things about going big is to stop and reflect, and to see if your mission still fits you. Now, I don't want you to go to your closet and see if your clothes still fit you, because some of you might go, oh, I can't get into that anymore. That's great. That's great. Metaphysically speaking, Sonia's laughing. You got a dress that you can't get into anymore? No, she's got stuff she can get into. Now look at, if you have outgrown some of the parts of your mission, if they no longer serve, you need to put them in a box and gift them away. We do a lot of that. We gift where we've gotten to. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, Kathy, when I think about that, I think about you and all of the people you have impacted. And then I watched you decide to make that decision to do that for yourself. And it's been just incredible to watch that. And I think about that. I think about how there's so much that we give that we could, in a dime, if I said, best piece of advice, you'd pull it from something you knew and knew well, right? And so that's cool. But then there's the stuff that we stretch. And I think that many of us are in that stretch. And what does that stretch look like? I call it the stretch to significance, right? Whatever is significant to you. And so when we talk about going big and things not fitting anymore, when we retreat and we take a look at our mission, what does that mission mean? For me, I live in the world of the 1 to 3%. That's what top performance is. We don't change everything, we change something. We don't change everything, we change something that changes everything. So much easier, right? It's like when you change your website, you don't toss everything out, you upgrade it. You bring it more to life, you make it more current. And that's what's happening. So from someone who sits back and has been doing this for a while, I'm watching what's happening. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that we can share with each other is the how, right? We know there's things out there. I obviously play in the world of media, so I get to watch people go big or try to go big or want to go big or don't understand on how to go big. And that's why I'll talk a little bit about the media stacking a bit later, because it's that compound effect. But really it is about making that decision. Sometimes I always say that, you make the decision to go bigger or you get dragged to go bigger. And that drag can be one or two things, right? It can be your clients pushing you. It can be the universe pushing you. And that happens in all sorts of different ways where it's like people are coming to you and asking for things that you don't offer yet. And it happens more than twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. You're like, well, maybe I should, have a program for that or something, right? It's so that's coming to you. If people are making offers like, it's so great, Trish, that you use that analogy. Thank you for preempting my conversation here about when someone calls you, do you say yes? And then there's the, I'm not going to talk about mindset right now in a minute, right? There's the dance of the mindset. But when those things start calling, when people start calling, when the universe is calling, when whomever, however your spiritual world starts calling, then sometimes it can be uncomfortable. And for a lot of us, there has been a very big shift in how the world is done, business is done, companies are done. Like you could be working at someone, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to notice change. I mean, Simon Sinek doesn't have a huge master thought leader, following organization because he works necessarily with entrepreneurs. He works more internally with corporate. And we had a lot of women today talk about how they've gone from corporate to entrepreneur. So internal structures and internal systems have changed, right? And our wants and deservedness have changed. I've seen this huge evolution around, particularly women and those that support women have go, I want bigger. I cannot tell you, I changed the title. This title was not supposed to be this, and I changed it to go big because I was like, that's what I hear when I'm having private conversations with women that want to do business, right? And it's coming from all ages. And I'm going to tell you, you want to talk about what we're doing as being watched. The wave of entrepreneurs are not just younger, they're us. They're every stage. Women are making different changes. They're going from side gigs to full gigs to side gigs. I don't really like the word gig because I don't think our business is a gig, because it would be a lot easier if it was. You know what I mean? But talk to a musician and they're like, gigs aren't easy either. So Carmel, maybe we should get you to sing on our next summit. Okay. So for people that do gigs, and so it is work. You've got people that are coming in that want to do it faster. Faster seems to be a word. Entrepreneurial fatigue is real. The stretch to significance is real. Having to understand and keep up with things is real, from a technology standpoint, from an entrepreneurial standpoint. And yet we have to change on the inside for that to happen as well. One of the things that I can say the most about going to that bigger stage, and I cannot say this enough, and this is something I had someone tell me in my 20s, and honestly, I wouldn't tattoo it on myself, but I certainly would make a plaque right on top of my computer here, that I say often is, do not compare your insides to other people's outsides. That is going to make going big so much easier for you. That is the most unfair thing you can do to yourself, because the truth happens in the kitchen. And you know what I mean? I mean, you have a conversation with someone in the kitchen and they're like, oh, well, let me tell you about that. Do you know what I mean? And we're like, oh, and this whole time I've been thinking blah, blah, blah. Just stop. Stop thinking about anything about anyone except where you're going and how you're going to go there. There's ways that you can go there, and that is the world that we've just become upon. So of course I'm going to talk a little bit in the world of media because that's the world I'm in. And the reason why I'm in it is because I woke up one morning. Look at, the favorite thing that I did when I was younger is I used to climb trees. I used to hop my crib apparently at 2 years old, and I'd hop it to the window. We had this big house. It was like this, what do they call them? Heritage houses. And I would pop my window open and I would walk down on the veranda and I'd go all the way down and I'd dig a hole under the fence. We had a fence. It was those school fences that are metal and they kind of rattle. So we were on the back of a school fence and I dug a hole enough to know how to just dig a hole. And my mom would get a call like, oh, Deb's running down the street again. You know what I mean? I used to do stuff like that. I used to climb trees and not be able to come down. People like, you are a tomboy. I was so a tomboy. I used to have rock fights with the neighbors until one day I came home and my head was bleeding and I didn't know. And she's like, what happened? Oh my God. And a rock hit my head and I didn't even know. So there you go. Maybe that's the whole reason for this. I don't know. But like, I didn't come from, we sat down and watched the Glenn Campbell show. And we watched Hockey Night in Canada with Peter Puck across the stream. Never in a million years did I think that we would be here having conversations like this, right? And what does go big mean? I woke up years ago. I was doing my thing, man. Like I was in music, and I got a message to go into holistic healthcare, and I did holistic healthcare, and I did massage, and intuitive work, and like had this great. I was 18. I had 18 staff, and we had crystals and meditation. I mean, that was my world. And then I got told, I became a formulator and formulated products and did a lot of traveling around the world. And then literally one morning I woke up and I got this message to start a podcast and I didn't know what one was. And either did my friends. I had to go find out. Joe Rogan didn't exist. And even if he did exist, I wouldn't have known who he was because he wasn't part of my world. And that wasn't that long ago that moment happened. Now, I always say I don't always do what I'm told. But I think, just like I talked about earlier, that sometimes you get, told to move and to grow by something. I don't know, maybe it's a book that falls out of the shelf while you're walking down the bookstore. Maybe it's you got the wrong package in the mail from somebody and you open it up and it was a clear indication. Maybe someone keeps hounding you and calling you and asking you to have a conversation about something. It's like, think about how you've met some of the coolest people in your life. Maybe they're not the people that you went to school with. You met them somewhere, somehow, and something inside of you told you this was a cool person, let's hang out for a while. And so I think for me, that's kind of how this has come into my life. But when I did accept the mission to start a podcast, and then I got told to do an anthology, I'd never been in one. I didn't know what one looked like. And I thought, how am I going to get people to go into a book together? Like it was like that. Like, I'm like, who would want to do that? Like the only thing I know is you go to a bookstore and you buy the book and the book has one name on it, right? So the only multiple book thing I ever saw was a magazine. And so how did we get here? We got here because we all decided to do things that were really uncomfortable. And I want to watch my time. Okay. So I want to say that, I used to own 2 direct sales companies and I used to participate in that industry considerably. And I personally find it one of the most, freeing economic platform for women internationally. And I really support that sector. And I remember just, the word how was so prevalent because you had people that had dreams and you had people that had needs and sometimes very high needs and sometimes very big dreams. And the question was how. And I learned very early on that my success was going to be based on 2 things: taking the tedious time out to find how, which I'm grateful for my roots, my Rubik Cube brain that is willing to learn that. The second thing is that the biggest paychecks for people who are willing to be the most comfortable. And that has definitely been my truth in media. So I remember being in media. I mean, I was on Zoom 4 years before we all had to be, and if I was smart, so I was hanging out with some of these people in finance that would have bought stocks in Zoom, but I didn't. And so here we are. And so I remember, learning about this thing called media and what it meant. And there wasn't a whole lot of chicks in media that were like, hey, let me tell you, I always say my next book is hashtag God pick on somebody else, because if that, universe doesn't throw me into pioneering positions all the time, I'm like, I don't know when it's going to stop, if it'll ever stop. I think at this point I've kind of come to it. I just like to hang out with people that have the same problem. I'm like, do you push? Okay, cool. Let's go have coffee. So what I want to say in terms of expanding yourself and the uncomfortable around it is that I watch all the time, because there wasn't a lot of women in media. There's still not a lot of women in media, and women in media predominantly are usually finding something, curating it, nailing it, and not necessarily expanding from that. So does anyone remember when they had to do their Facebook Live or Instagram Live, or like how, I don't know what you, but I was sick to my stomach. Here's the hilarious thing. I had already spoken on stage for 20,000 people. 20,000 people. I spoke on stage and I was freaked out about doing a Facebook Live. I can laugh about it now. So if you're uncomfortable, you'll laugh about it soon enough, right? I remember when I got told, so there was a big key presenter coming into our city, and the organizers were looking for someone to open for them. And I mean, I was like just part of the committee. I wasn't really paying attention, and they sent me the flyer done already without asking my permission, and I was opening for this person. And it was frigging huge. And I'm going to tell you, I had a headache for 4 days before that event. They wouldn't let me cancel. So what I had to do to feel comfortable is I took 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, because I was so worried. I wasn't allowed to, I couldn't do this. I couldn't read off my phone. I couldn't do anything. It was live. It was live. And I had all my friends take the front row. I mean, all of them. I said, okay, I'll do that. I had everyone reserved on the front row. I gave them 8.5 pieces of paper, and I had the points that I was supposed to talk to in flow. And I'm like, no, you don't sit there, you sit there. And that's what I did to be able to get through that, right? So it's someone needs to hear that. I didn't plan on telling you that story. But what I want to encourage you is I want to encourage you to go big, because I hear it on the other side. And I want to encourage you to work on your mindset. There's the most incredible people that will help you with mindset and beliefs and pushing through that. I want to help people not only satisfy the crazy thoughts that come up. I'm not this. It shows up. Here's the interesting thing, right? You don't feel like you deserve it. You don't feel good enough. You know how it shows up? You cancel your meeting with me because you have to go to an appointment to pick up something for someone. It's really important. It happened today. Or you manifest bigger and you're like, I got a toothache, or I put my back out, or I'm in a headache, or what have you. This is kind of the symptom, right? Or the cause, and this is how it shows up. And I've seen that enough times to know that that's what's going on, and I can kind of call someone out on it and go, oh, why don't you show up anyway? Why don't you do this anyway, right? Or when someone tries to reschedule, I just don't answer the phone. If that's you, I'd be like, don't answer the phone. They're going to show up because I won't let them cancel. These are the kind of things around mindset when you start to go. So just be observant of those. You're going to start looking at other people and going, they can, I can't. Or, who do I think? I started a women's channel. That's insane. Okay. I used to be in rock fights with my neighbors, and we did it on purpose. That was our entertainment. I used to go and play Kaplunk, and we didn't have a lot of money, so did anyone have an easy bake oven? So I would take that little package and make my cake. My mom didn't have enough money to go buy me more batter, so you put apples and cinnamon, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, let's just do this summit. Oh, let's just do this book of 260 women. Oh, I mean, it didn't just happen with it. Oh, but I just want to share that we all kind of come from the same place, and how you go from there to here, I don't know. You just do. Joanne talked about earlier about how she just put one foot in front of the other. Blair talked about that as well, just putting one foot in front of the other, and somehow you get here. You're here when you hang out with the right people, and they don't let you cancel, and they don't let you fall, and all the things, or you fall and they're like, that's cool, go buy yourself some flowers and let's get back to it the next day. One of my best quotes, or one of my best coaches said to me, oh, you're feeling like that today? Okay, good. You can take 4 hours off. I'll call you in 4 hours. Like literally you had 4 hours to get it together. You know what I mean? Like all things that we do to get to where we are. I just want to announce and make a formal announcement that you can go big, that accessibility is no longer what we are fighting for. And I think that we still have a long way to go. Absolutely. But guess what? You got chosen to help make that happen. Yay, you. Yay, us. Yay, you. Yay, us. And so what I see in the world of media is I see that, even myself who was afraid to do a Facebook Live now could go talk in front of 20,000 people or go have a women's channel. And I want you to know that if you can talk to your friend at a trade show, you can do a podcast. You can do a podcast, you can have a podcast. These things are not impossible. They're just decisions, right? You can go from one to one to one to many. You go really many. You heard on the Rising Constellation, a lot of those women said yes and got themselves to the suite where we were like handing these out to celebrities. A picture hand out. You say, I work for this family, what we got in our head, what we're going to say, how we're going to present, what does that look like? I mean, some of these things, they don't happen overnight, but they can happen quicker than you think. I was, look at, we didn't have a converter from our TV, not because we couldn't afford one, but because, I've been on a little while. And, it was the job of the kids, like, go change the channel. Like, we used to change our own channel, you know what I mean? And then we used to, like, really such the remarkable when women started, showing up on TV and having their own shows on TV. And we all know the famous Oprah, who had the Oprah Network, and everyone was like, oh, wish I could meet her. Oh my gosh, I wish I could be interviewed her. I'd love to be on her show. I'd love my book to be, part of her. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? This isn't my book, but could you imagine my book, being talked about a book? So here's the thing, news alert. You don't have to wait for them to call you. Just go there. Like, just go there. You can do that now, right? You want to go be at the Oscars with your own stuff, the Emmys at your own stuff? There's people in this room that can help you do it. And that's crazy. That was not a conversation we were having 3 years ago or 4 years ago. So if you want to have a podcast, you can have a TV show. If you want to have a podcast, you can have a TV show. Because look at the evolution of what's happened in media. So print media is strong, radio media is strong. Just so you know, social media, I got 1 minute left. Social media is 15% of media. 15%. So if I was to say to you, you've got your business, you have I imagine you want 100% of revenue. And if you're banking all of your stuff on social media, you've got 85% of a gap that you're missing. And so you literally can have a TV show versus a podcast show. So if I was to say to someone, I'd love to have you interview my TV show, they're going to say yes over it because that's the new media. If you say podcast, absolutely, I have a podcast. I'm not dissing podcasts. It's how you do your podcast. And I'm not talking about the host, I'm talking about the guest. And you can just come to the free class to figure that out. But it is literally the same thing. It is literally the same thing, except when you move your podcast to a television channel, we now stream you to 250 to 300 million. And you're all listening to that because we're on the women's channel right now. So that's the difference, because the fight for podcasters and the host is getting that audience. That's a lot of time. And so you can now shift very quickly, just like you could shift from a Facebook Live to being on a summit, to being interviewed, to being on a podcast guest, having a podcast. You now can have TV, and there's a beautiful stream that goes along that. And there you go, 10:20. So I'm going to wrap up, but I hope that there was something in there that made you laugh, that made you realize that you're in the right place at the right time, that you can have anything that you want. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Don't wait them to do it first. It's not their job to do it for you. It's your job to do it for you. So you want a TV show, have one. You want to do Facebook Lives every day, do it. You want to learn how to do it well, we've got some classes for you. So I hope that you found that fun. I didn't know I was going to tell you about the rock fight, but that's the great thing about winging it. No, winging it as a speaker. So with that being said, I think we've got some prizes, and I was going to share about those prizes.
Yes, please tell us.
We do 3 classes for anyone. If you don't meet, come to the media class. We have a free media class. It'll be put in the chat. We also have a free trade show class, because a lot of you like to do business live. And I say, if you walk away from a trade show and don't say, I would have paid double for that, you're going to do some things. Because that's how I got myself in Success Magazine. And the other one is, it wouldn't be fair to teach you how to have people come to you, because we will. if I can't teach you how to profit call, which means convert those over into people that are working with you. So those are the free classes. Now, when Katie said, oh, I'm going to do a private media stacking consultation, I'm going to do a media audit on what you're doing and how you're doing it. And so I'm going to teach you about media stacking, about where you can be putting media, sistering them. Most people are most people like the middle of the Oreo, that big piece of media, right? That they're using it in places like, our social, where it has a bigger reach. So I'll just help you and teach you what to do. Yeah, you don't have to win that prize at all. And then I'm going to give someone a media stacker because I believe in smiles in the mailbox. And thank you for people that send me stuff. I love all your books and everything. So this is a media stacker because now that you've taken this class, you're going to start seeing a red car because you bought a red car. And people are going to come into your life that are on media, have radio shows, podcasts, all the things, do summits, kind of stuff. You're going to put them in here. Why are you going to put them in here? Because when you put them in here, you are going to call them and utilize their media. Why? Because you do projects, you have businesses, you have things to announce about all the things that you do that you want to announce. And when you do that, you're going to put them in here. So you're going to have a whole book of people to help and support when you want to use your media, how you activate your media, and all the things in between. So Katie, back to you, and I'm going to take a drink.
You deserve it. That was really awesome, Deb. I appreciate just the fact that, yes, we can all go big and not to wait for anyone else to make it happen for us. If you feel that calling and you know you're ready for the next step, take responsibility and start finding out where you can go bigger. Get your message out to more. So